There are conflicting reports, like you just mentioned earlier, that this attack, this car bomb, targeted a restaurant in the city center of Manbij. One of those claims is that this attack targeted a U.S. military patrol that was patrolling the area or the city center. But the other claim, which is highly more possible and likely to have been happened, was that this attack targeted U.S. troops, French troops, and leaders of the YPG terror group in a meeting at a restaurant in that city center. And the details are they're just surfacing and coming to light. Initial reports suggest that it was a car bomb that targeted the soldiers as well as the YPG militants that were in that meeting. But the other details that are surfacing are that Daesh claimed responsibility for this attack. Now, this meeting, by the looks of it, is a part of the U.S.-led international coalition against Daesh, but also this meeting comes as U.S. and Turkey Chief of General Staff. They've come together, or they were expected to come together in Brussels and talk about situations such as this. So all of this happened as this meeting was expected to happen. But the latest that we got from the region was that U.S. helicopters, military helicopters, were carrying the wounded away from the attack site and potentially treat the wounded. Initial estimates or guesses say that about 10 people have been killed, including some soldiers of the U.S. military, and many more have been injured. And this claim belongs to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights.
So tell us, Yasin, how common is it for U.S. troops, foreign troops, to be targeted and killed in this way?
Well, in all honesty, it's really difficult to say, but what we can say is that military personnel are typically high-value targets in areas such as this. But we also need to take into account the location as well. Manbij is under YPG control, so relatively speaking, Manbij for U.S. troops is not necessarily a high-risk area. But what we do need to take into account is that Daesh or other terror groups also may have sleeper cells or these pockets of active militias that could also pose a threat to U.S. troops in that region. But if you take the geography out of context and you just focus on the bigger scheme of things, military personnel generally are pretty much almost always a target. But the one thing that makes this different is that as this meeting was taking place, that there was a U.S. military patrol. So the presence of U.S. troops and the patrol could have been a dead giveaway as to how or why this attack happened in the first place.